Price of Bitcoin near the 67,000.
Not so much. That's
a shocker. Don't tell. If it isn't, don't tell me. I don't want to know. I don't want to. Thank you.
Cheese and cake.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. 67,000 this morning. Crypto, it's up about 100. This currency up about 125% over the last year. Joining us now is Eric Golden, CEO of Canopy Capital Group. We haven't had much, developments since the ETF. Have we? And that's really what has caused this recent move. We got as low as 16 at one point, 16,000, didn't we, in the last year and a half or 2 years?
Yes.
So 75 to 16, now back to 67. Most of it on the ETF or hash rate records? What is it?
I think it's been three things. The first is that in September, we saw central banks around the world cut rates, and 21 banks cut. We haven't seen that coordination since COVID or the great financial crisis. Stocks are all-time highs. Bond spreads are at all-time tights. We're stimulating a very robust economy, which is going to push risk assets higher. The second is the election. We have, whether you believe the betting polls, the actual polls, the market sentiment you have on your show, people believe Trump's in the lead. And if Trump wins, that's bullish for crypto. And the final thing is the point you made, is that the ETF is probably the most successful product in recent memory. Spot Bitcoin is now at $65 billion AUM. It's raised $20 billion in 12 months. That's 5 times faster than gold got to that level. And so I think every asset management firm, some were ahead on crypto, some are behind. Every asset management firm now has to decide what's our position on Bitcoin, what are the products we want to launch.
There was, I'm trying to remember, what was the most recent surge in gold to new highs? What do you think? That was partly the Fed, I think, in printing more money, but there are a couple of other things where Bitcoin was non-correlated with gold. It almost looked like gold was doing what it was supposed to do, what it was designed for, and Bitcoin was just acting like a risk-on, risk-off asset. Is it really what it's cracked up to be in terms of only $21 million debasement means that it's going to be good for Bitcoin? Because it doesn't act like it's truly going to do that. You think eventually that will be borne out?
No, I agree with you. If you zoom back out to March, Bitcoin's been a nothing burger. So yes, year to date it's been high, but we have so much volatility in this asset class. It's not yet gotten to the point where gold is truly the flight to quality. Right. If you think both candidates are talking about increasing the deficit trillions of dollars.
Right.
Inflation isn't going away. The Fed's cutting. There's lots of reasons that investors are concerned.
If it really was truly a digital gold,
it should be up.
It should have been doing better.
And I think it's acting more like a risk asset. And what's happening now is what I'm surprised at, which is that the Fed cut aggressively and then told the market it was going to cut even more. What the volatility we're seeing in the bond market right now is the market bringing back that timeline of they're not going to cut that aggressively, that rapidly. But if the Fed did follow that path, you would expect all risk assets to be higher. Independent of who the president is, I expect risk assets to be higher in 25.
We've had people on that everybody's got an axe to grind, obviously, but now I'm being told that Vice President Harris is now amenable to crypto, or at least been for people that like crypto and don't want to say, vote for Donald Trump. They're now saying, I'm hearing good things from Kamala. Has she been intimating that she's friendlier toward, because Elizabeth Warren and many Bernie Sanders, people on the left do not like crypto.
Yeah, I think the Democrats on messaging, this is a little too late in the process to start, to your point, intimating that they might be pro-crypto. So I don't think it's falling. I think it's falling on deaf ears.
And if she wins the election, then would you jump on the bandwagon and say, okay, you said you were going to warm up to us?
I think people are hopeful. I mean, yesterday you had Mark Cuban on, and I think it was Andrew who pointed out, look, the Democrats, they sidelined Elon at an EV event. They're isolating Silicon Valley. You're going after crypto. I think there's been a lot of relationships that have been mishandled. And I'd love to see, if Harris becomes the president, I'd like to see those relationships rebuilt, because this is a growing and important asset class for the world. And we can't just turn our heads because there's a couple of senators that really dislike it.
So it's an asset class for the world. I
think it is.
If you listen to the story, the unbanked and individuals that are in high inflation countries, that all you need is a phone, really, right? I mean, you can be banked and protect your hard-earned cash if you're in a place where there's 20% inflation. it seems like the unbanked, it's a natural for the unbanked, but I'm still don't. Is that really happening?
The biggest story you're completely correct that in developing nations, Bitcoin is a core and important asset.
It is?
To your point, if you have runaway inflation, it could be an asset that's a safe haven. The point I was going to make is that stablecoins will be the most important topic, in my opinion, over the next 12 months. Right now, there's $6.5 trillion in money market funds. Just this week, you heard that Stripe acquired Bridge for $1 billion. I think it's a huge moment for stablecoins, and I really think that will be the killer application that lets people adopt crypto.